And it's a really quite interesting movie. And he was graduating from college, he didn't know what to do, and a guy took him aside, and he said, plastics. You know, and plastics was, if you get into plastics, you'll make a lot of money. Justin Hoffman looked at him like, what the hell is that about? You'll probably look at me for the same way. Here's what I think you need to do. Develop a network, okay? And what that means is, competing today, you can't compete on your own. You just cannot do it. If you look at better journals, and I don't do the A, B, and C, but let's just call them better journals, the turnaround time is at least 18 months. To get it published is 2 to 3 years. Your dean, your department chairman is going to be sitting there saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where's your output? What's up? What we've developed, and there's a guy, and again, he's a very good friend of mine. If any of you are in human resource management, he is the best human resource management in the States. His name is Jerry Ferris. Jerry's a top-notch thinker, top-notch scholar, and what he's done is he's put together, he calls it a flower. He's in the middle, and each one of these petals are a group of people that work on stress, a group of people that work on political skill, a group of people that do this, and he coordinates and manages all that. And when they publish something, there's normally 6 or 7 people on the paper. And he'll come out with political skill, he'll come out with stress, he'll come out with leadership. He's got all these people that he's the puppeteer that runs the show. And every one of the people he's working with is benefiting by it, and Jerry benefits because he's working, and again, his resume is just staggering and so good. But does Jerry do it on his own? No way. He can't. I can't. If you happen to look at my resume, the first 10 years, the one I told you when I was peeing in the wind, not getting anything done, I was doing it all by myself. Every article I wrote was by myself. Oh, I'm going to do this. And I couldn't get out enough volume. I couldn't get out enough to be recognized and be good. Once I moved and went to another university, I said, okay, I'm going to develop, I called it relationships with people. And I started writing people and say, I've read your stuff. Boy, it's really interesting. I'm working on a similar topic. Would you like to work with me? I now work with 30 people all over the world. Because I had enough nerve to say, I've read your work and I really like it and I'd like to add something to it. Would you like to work with me? And I'm working with people in Europe, I'm working with people over here, I'm working with people in the States, I'm working with people in Canada. And when I come in to get my email, I go to work at about 4:30 or 5 in the morning. When I go in to get them, I'll have 150 of them from these people all over the world, all with different topics. Okay? Why did I go down to talk down at Griffith yesterday? Because there's 2 people I wanted to meet because I was interested in some of the work they were doing. I talked to them. We already have a project developed based upon yesterday. Okay? So,
one site?
Pardon me?
Well, the 2 guys, one site and the other guy.
And Adrian. Yeah, they're both good. They're both very good. The one guy that left, that came up to Bond, Ken Perry, looks like he's pretty good too. Ken and I will do something on, I've got an idea on how to bend this destructive leadership thing into a toxic environment and show that destructive leaders are not necessarily evil, they're creative. Okay? And again, Hitler was evil, but there are other people that are turned into bad people by the organizations they're in. And so I think Ken will be interested in that. So the first thing you have to do is get to know people, and not the people sitting in the room. I was talking to Ruth yesterday. She drove me down to the campus, and she said, "Oh, I've got this network, and we were talking about this." And I said, "Well, who are they?" "Well, they're junior faculty members at Griffith." I go, "They can't help you. They don't know any more than you do." Now, that doesn't mean you ignore them, but you need some people that have done it. You need some people that have some scars. You know, and I'm not saying it has to be old. Most of them are going to be older. But you got to move outside of your comfort zone and go to somebody that's further down the pipe than you are and be on his team. You know, whether it's in whatever area you see that you think you can fit into. I would highly doubt that somebody would say, "No, we're not interested in working with you. No, we won't help you." I just don't think that'll happen. If it does, find somebody else. But you know, I call it hooking iron lungs together. You're all crippled, kind of, and putting 3 or 4 crippled people together doesn't make a good research team. And you're crippled because you don't know what you're doing. Okay? If you did, you wouldn't be here. Okay? Develop a unique process, and I'll show you mine just as an example. But you've got to have a way of saying, I've got to produce, and I've got to come up with a technique that makes me produce. You can't just sit there and write a paper. There's literally a thought process that I go through, which I'll show you in just a minute. But And again, it's the way I do a project. You're going to say, well, that's stupid. The answer is, it may be stupid, but it works for me. I'm telling you, put together a process that makes you turn out papers. Okay? One of my graduate students who's very good. Let me give you how good he is. When he finished his PhD, he had published 40 articles. He's good. He grew up in Montenegro. When he's 12 years old, the Russians identified him as being a prodigy. They moved him to Moscow to play with their chess things. He's a grandmaster chess player. And he thinks in a way that no one else I've ever met does. He's Mr. Spock. He thinks like Mr. Spock. He plays three-dimensional chess. He's that good. The thing of it is, when Millerad looked at my thing, he said, that's stupid, I can't do that. And I said, I didn't ask you to do what I do, but have something that makes sense, that you check every box so you get things done. Don't just sit there and let it kind of swirl around in front of you. You need a process, and I'll show you what I mean by process in just a minute. To develop an annual research plan. I've been doing it 40 years, guys. Here's 2008. This is my plan for the year. These are the articles that have been published. These are the articles that are under review. These are the articles that I'm working to get developed this year. You make a commitment to yourself, and I look at this every day. I can tell you exactly how many articles in each one of these stages, because, and I make a commitment. I send it to my department chairman every month. And I say, Walter, this is what I'm doing, just so you're aware of it. And I've got formulas. If I have, this is 2008, I had 22 articles accepted for publication. You say, boy, that's really great. The answer is not really. Because in my mind, if I've got 22 that are accepted, that means I've got to have 44 under review. And I've got to have another 40 or 50 that are under development. So how do you get 40 articles under review? So every time I get an article accepted, I go, oh crap, now I've got to write 2 more. Because I found out that it takes so many in the pipeline to turn out 22, and that number is 2 to 3. For every one you turn out, you have to have 2 or 3 more in the pipeline, or it'll just stop. Now, I do it, and again, I do it annually. I do it every month. I pass it on, and it's kind of like a management by objectives tool. I've committed to it. I give it to my department chair, and he says, if you can do that, that's great. So we have an understanding ahead of time, and I'm making it very, very visible. It's very transparent. This is what I do.
Excuse me, this includes the future work for you, or just that you are currently doing?
This is what's been published, what's under review, and the things I'm going to develop this year, 2008. This year in 2008, I've committed to developing 12, 15 articles. Okay? I have 30 under review, and I have 22 accepted.
Okay, but I mean, for the ones that you haven't finished yet, so you just write the title, the idea,
yeah.
And then later on you are going to
submit it to this journal. Normally I'll put down what journal I think I'll submit it to on the ones.
Based on your way of doing things, just like
it is, and again, the thing that helps is the transparency puts a little bit of self-imposed pressure. I don't sit back and, you know, who the hell needs to write 22 articles when you're 65 years old? You don't need to do that. Okay? But in my mind, that keeps it exciting. And what I do is, this creates energy within me. Oh boy, now I got those, now I can go do these. You know, and it's I call it the light. It's the light of learning that's inside of you. If that light ever goes out, this is a terrible job. What you got to do is keep that light up and be excited about what you're doing.